So where did your career go after that, your professional career?
So from 94 to 98 was a bit of a struggle. And, I was trying to kind of make a bigger jump. And from 95, 96, 97, me and Arjun Atwal went searching for coaches in America. And we would take out the top 100 coaches list, Golf Digest top 100 coaches list, and we would actually go through the list and try and go to some of the top teachers, and nothing really worked. And we found some really crazy guys, really crazy people who were scientists, NASA scientists trying to teach golf. And crazy guys, theories, you'd never hit a golf ball. And then we went to some really good coaches. So overall, but we never found a secret. And there was no secret to golf. And I never had a coach in my life till that time. And those 3 years, I actually spent making the biggest mistakes of my life, going to different coaches, swing coaches, trying to do different things, which never worked out. So eventually what happened was in 98, Leander Pace's father told me that you should go and train where Leander trains. There's a sports science center called the LGE, where, Frank Nobilo was training, who was world number one, I think, around that time. Pete Sampras was training, Sanchez Vicario was training. So the world top 5 tennis players, golfers, they were all training there. And Leander's father said, why don't you go and train there? Because Leander has spent a lot of time there. And he's seen a huge amount of improvement in his tennis. So in 98, I went there and I met, some of the top trainers there. There was a guy called Echilbury. Then there was a guy called Dr. Jack Groppel, who's also Pete Sampras' nutritionist. So he gave me a nutrition plan. I worked with a guy called Dave Herman, who's Leander's fitness trainer. And he's also Ernie Els's trainer, and he's trained with some of the top athletes in the world. So Dave Herman trained me for a couple of years. Then I went to a guy called David Striegel. He was a sports psychologist, again trained with some of the top athletes. And when I came back in 98, I won the Crompton Greaves. I won the Crompton Greaves in 98 Jan. I went to them in 97. So within 4 to 5 months, I won the biggest prize check in Indian golf, other than the Indian Open. So that was the biggest prize check. That year, I finished top 3 on the order of merit. I had some good finishes, outside. I think that was the year you were also on.
I joined in 98, yes. 98.
Yeah, so 98,
you had already won the Crompton Greaves. I think it was in summer, right?
We traveled a lot together. I think I went 8 tournaments, finishing in the top 5 back to back. So, second, third, fourth. So if you remember, we spent some time in Lucknow. So we traveled to Philor, right? We went to all these kind of places, because I had not played too many tournaments and I had a chance to win the order of merit. So, halfway down the season, because the season used to be from, I think, June to May. So, January I won and I hadn't played any tournaments, and suddenly I had a chance to win the order of merit. So I started playing every tournament. And we traveled a lot together, and I had these top 5 finishes back to back. So, nutrition, mental toughness, and fitness training. I think at that time, I was probably one of the fittest golfers in the Asian Tour also. And, that kind of changed everything for me. And between 98 to, 2001 was the best period of my professional golf, because I consistently played well and I had some really good finishes. I won 3 tournaments in the span of that 3 years. And I was right there throughout. And, then 2001, of course, we'll talk about the other tournaments win. Then from 2001 came the next phase of my golfing career.
Yeah, well, let's go back to Crompton Greaves and take us through that, because you beat Amritinder in the final, right? And you gave him
I beat
your putter.
Amritinder.
You gave me a
Yeah,
putter.
yeah. So that was quite a story. Uh, I'll give you again one story which no one knows about the Crompton Greaves. I was playing. There was this one tournament, I think a 15 lacquer tournament, just before the Crompton, and I was playing really badly. Mentally, I was absolutely not there, and I think I was 7-8 over after 9 holes. And I told my wife, she was walking with me. I said, "You go and book the return ticket. We are flying back. I'm not playing the second round." And so I shot 15, 16 over, and straight from my wife packed her bags, and she came to the club. We went to the airport, we flew out, and I wasn't even in the mood to play the Crompton, but because it was a match play and I was in the tournament, I flew back the night before the Crompton, because this was back-to-back tournaments. So I went back home for 4-5 days, and I flew back for the Crompton, and my first round opponent was Raju Ali. And, it was a very tight match. Till the 15th hole, we were all square. And on the 15th hole, I hit my birdie putt, which stood on the lip. And I went and I tapped it in. And, once I tapped it in, I think Raju Ali was told something. Raju Ali was advised by Rafiq Ali, who's his uncle, that you go and claim the hole. So Raju Ali came and claimed the hole, saying that you played out of turn, so it's a hole loss. So I said, no, it's not a hole loss. If you play out of turn in match play, you can recall the shot. So I can put it back on the lip and tap it in again. He said, no, hole loss and all that. Call the referee. You remember Colonel Brar was a referee.
Oh, yes. Who can forget him?
Yeah. So Colonel Brar came, Sampath came, and, both said no. Then finally they had to give a warning to Raju Ali, saying that this is the rule. If you don't accept it, then you'll be disqualified. But you have to continue playing, because he had refused to play. And later, apparently, Raju apologized to me, saying that Rafiq Ali instigated him to actually do that, to put me off, so that he could, put my game off and actually throw me off the game. So, Rafiq and Raju were trying to play mind games. I mean, I can put it on record because that is a fact.
Okay.
And that happened. And then, I think second round I beat Chopra. Remember that I think he quit playing golf.
Arjun Chopra?
No, not Arjun Chopra. He went off to America. He was a very close friend of Vivek Bhandari.
Okay.
Then I think I beat some good players. I beat Jumman. Then I beat Vijay Kumar. Then I beat Shiv Prakash. And then finally I beat Amritinder. So
Amit Chopra. Amit
Sorry?
Chopra. Amit
yeah,
Chopra.
That's Amit Chopra. Yeah, right. So Amit was also a close match. I think there was an upset in that tournament. I think Simran Singh beat Jeev in that tournament.
What are you saying?
Round. Yes.
Seriously?
So Simran Singh, Simran
At
uncle.
the ripe age of?
Probably in his late 60s. So he beat
My
Jeev
God,
on the
he's
last
an
round.
incredible guy.
Yeah. So he beat Jeev in the first round. And so, before that tournament, I think Amritinder was struggling with his putter, and I was using a long putter. So I gave Amritinder my spare long putter. And when we got into the final, I told Amritinder that, if you beat me with my putter, I'm going to charge you for the putter. And if I beat you, then you keep the putter. So that was a joke. And, unfortunately for him, it was a really close match, and Amritinder lost, so he still got the putter. But it was a really, really tight match. Amritinder actually hit all 18 regulations in the first round, and I think he was still only one up on me. And then finally, I think on the fourth or fifth hole, I had turned the tables and I was one up, and then his game started falling apart. And then, towards the end, it was I think a 4-3 win for me. And it was quite comfortable, but it was pretty tight till the 9th or 10th hole. And I remember that tournament very fondly because it was mentally very taxing. You played 6 rounds of match play, which is mentally more tiring in 5 days. You played the quarterfinals and you played the 4th round and the quarterfinals on the same day. So it was very, very tiring, and I was all alone. I remember I was staying at the Sea Rock Hotel. I flew back alone, and that was one of the few tournaments where I was all alone. My wife was not traveling, and it was quite a tough week for me, but probably one of the highlights of my career, because you can say that you won an All India, so the national championship for professional golfers, and the biggest prize money tournament, and it stayed, I think, the biggest for the next 5-7 years, because 5 lakhs as being the first prize, I think, was good till about 2007-8.
That's right.
Till something bigger came. So it was probably my biggest win. Yeah, so that was the Crompton for me. Then I think 99 I didn't win anything, but in the year 2000 I got into contention. This was in KGA Bangalore Southern Open again, and I think first day I only shot I think 2 under or 3 under. 2 under I think I shot, and I was leading by a shot. And then second day I again shot 4 under or somewhere around that, I think, and I was leading. And we had a lot of, whole bunch of guys. Rohtas Singh was there, Gaurav Ghai was there. Then there was Amish Jetha was, I think, in contention. Shiv Prakash was in contention. So there was a whole bunch of guys. And then the third round, I managed to hold on to my lead. And again, wire to wire, I was going in. And I had a big lead, actually. I had a 6-shot lead going into the final round. So that was a bad night for me. Because, if you're leading by 6 shots, you have everything to lose.
And nothing to gain. You got to win to gain. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you got to actually lose the tournament. You 6-shot lead, you can't really lose the tournament. No one can really beat you. You have to also contribute to that loss. So I had a really rough night, and I was staying with Tarun Sardesai, and Tarun's dad, was a huge support for me. He was like a father to me, and later, subsequently, his loss was a huge loss for me also. But, he was a huge support. And I was staying in their house, and it was a very bad night. And, I went off to play the final round, and I didn't again have a good start. I think I made a bogey. My caddy almost stepped on my ball on the first fairway, so I almost got penalized. And so all that kind of stuff. So, it got a little tight when I think Rohtas came within 3 shots at some point of time. And then I made again two birdies towards the end to again pull away and win by 7 shots. So, it was a huge win for me. To win by 7 shots, wire to wire, 2, 4, 6, and then 7. So my lead went up by 2 shots every time. And it was a very, very convincing win, because for me to get that confidence that I won a stroke play tournament after 94, so 94 was my last stroke play tournament. The 98 was a match play. So to win a stroke play tournament in after 5-6 years gave me that confidence that I could actually, I could score and win. I just want to go back to the Crompton Greaves, because
of course,
the Crompton Greaves, the final round, the winner's check was 5 lakhs, the runners-up check was 2.5 lakhs, and serious amount of money in 98. 2.5 lakhs was a lot of money in 98, and to get to win a tournament, to win the All India match play, that was again a really bad night for me. And I woke up, I couldn't have breakfast because I felt like throwing up. And I was feeling sick. I was actually feeling sick on the first tee. And it helped a little bit to have Amritinder, who's a good friend, to talk to him and stuff. But it was extremely sick feeling in the morning. And, my training in America helped, because I remember, I finished my first round. I quickly went and took a shower, wore a pair of clothes, which made me feel fresh, new socks, new shoes, different pair of shoes. So, everything was fresh. I remember, all my nutrition stuff. So, I kind of ordered some steamed rice, which was not available in the club. So the caddy went and bought from some, small restaurant. So I had some, warm rice with some butter, and, so I had some carbohydrates to fill me up. And when I went out to play the second round, I think physically, and with nutrition and everything, I had an edge over Amritinder. Fresh Amritinder hadn't changed. He had played 18 holes. I was much fitter, I felt, at that point of time. So, all this added to me, for me to keep playing and put the pressure on him. So, that's where sports science helped me a lot. Coming back to 2000, that was again a very important win for me, because it was a huge win, 7-shot win in professional golf. And 2000 was a time where, you had a lot of professional golfers. It wasn't like the early 90s where you had only a bunch of guys. So you had a lot of guys, and, you beat a lot of guys on a golf course, which was probably the best in the country. KGA I hold as one of the, a man's golf course, or golf course where you need to play, you need to hit it far, you need to hit it close, you need to putt. So, it's a golf course which tests your game in all areas. So, to win on that golf course gave me a lot of confidence and a stamp that I could actually win. And that was the time when, at that point of time, I was number one on the order of merit in India. I didn't finish number one, but I was number one for quite a part time of the year, so that was a big phase. And then my final win was 2001.
Before you get to that final win, just to go back to Bangalore, that very tournament is, I think, when you were staying in Tarun's house, right?
Right.
So you and I went there, and we all went out. I remember meeting Tarun's dad. We all went out. A couple of times I came there to Tarun's house also. Right. I was staying at the BGC, I think. That's where we used to stay. So went to Tarun's house. We had a couple of nights out. I don't think we had a night out before your final round, but maybe in the first or second round. I remember that very clearly. I remember Tarun's house and his father sitting on the chair.
Yeah,
very clearly. Yeah.
So Bangalore has always been a great. Bangalore is very special for me. I didn't mention this, but I made my professional debut at BGC in '89, and that's the tournament which Rishi won, and I think Rishi retired after that, and Brandon also played. So that was my first tournament. And, every year I go back to Bangalore from '89 to now, which is for almost 31 years. It's a very special place. I just love that city. So many nice places to eat. It's such a relaxed city. You can go out, you walk around on, you go to Brigade Road and walk around. MG Road, but Brigade Road has all those shops. You had the first KFC on Brigade Road. Bangalore has always been a very, very special place for me, and winning there was great, and I still love going back and playing there. BGC, KGA, two great golf courses. I don't enjoy so much going out, outskirts to go and play at Eagleton or somewhere, because you're not really in Bangalore. But if it's at BGC or KGA, it's probably my happiest place. If you take BPGC along with it. So these are the two places I love going back, and I will keep going back if I get an opportunity to go and play.
Coming back, you mentioned BPGC. I have never done a tournament in Bombay ever. I've never seen a Bombay golf course. I was mentioning this in my interview with Digvijay earlier, but I've never ever seen a Bombay golf course. That's one of the biggest regrets of my life. I hope to change that around. Not one tournament.
But you've done Pune, right? You've done Pune.
Pune I've done. Pune was my territory.
Because I remember we've hung out in Pune a lot.
Yeah, in that Koregaon Park.
Yeah, Koregaon
Malacca
Park.
Spice.
Malacca Spice, I still go there. That's still my favorite restaurant.
Yeah. Is it still there?
It's there, and it's much bigger now. Remember the one we used to go to had only like a little, like a small shop kind of a place with.
I know, an eatery and a place to sit outside and have a drink.
Yeah. So now Malacca Spice is probably the biggest restaurant in Pune, with some 150 seating arrangement, very fancy, but the food is excellent and the same.
Yeah, I remember Pune, of course. Yes, I've done a Q school also there. That was in 2000. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So sorry, carry on. You were talking about your next tournament.
Yeah. So the next tournament, my next tournament win was Tolly. I would definitely put it at par with my first tournament win, because to win on your home course, where every caddy, every member, every ball boy, even the changing room attendant came out and actually watched me putt out my final putt on the last hole. And it was a 3-footer, which I was looking at the first fairway, because I thought if I miss it, I'll go into a playoff. And this one tournament where I was really close, I only won by 1. But to win in front of my dad, my wife, my children, my son rather. My son was only 2 years old, but he was walking, barely.
Okay.
In fact, I took him for a leak on the side behind the bushes while I was playing. Because he says, Papa, I want to do susu. So, on the 13th hole. So, this tournament had lot of memories, because the whole club was walking. And, every shot I hold, every putt I hold, there was a roar, which was, which gave you goosebumps, because the roar was like, absolutely shattering, because people wanted me to win so badly. And, everybody walking with me, the changing room attendant coming out of the changing room to see me on the final hole, the caddies, the ball boys, the members, my dad, my son, who was really young, so he didn't really understand much. It was really special for me. And, such a tight tournament. And I think I shot a 66 on the final round to win. And I shot 3 under the back 9 to win. So, it was something really, really special. I drove a 360-yard par 4 on the on the 14th hole, though I 3-putted, but I drove that on, and I've never driven it on again. No one, I think, has ever driven it on before or after that. So, lot of special things, on that final round. So,
and you eagled the hole? The one you drove on?
I 3-putted that hole, in fact.
Oh, you parred it.
I parred it, but
okay.
But, lot of special things happened on that round. The 16th, which is a really tight hole. Again, a 360, 70-yard hole. I hit it within 20 yards of the green.
Okay.
So a lot of shots I hit were absolutely out of, mind-blowing for me. And Tolly, the last 3 holes is probably the toughest finishing holes in Indian golf. And, since I was a child, I would always sleep and dream I'm winning a tournament there. And I would find it very tough to, visualize going through those last 3 holes where I'm in contention and actually negotiating them. So to actually have done it and to win, playing those last 3 holes was a complete dream come true. And, for me, I think I kind of felt a satisfaction of achieving whatever I wanted to achieve at that point of time. Unfortunately, in 2002, I had a really bad accident, and I'd gone to.
I was coming to that next, but anyway, that's
yeah. Good. So I mean, this tournament is pretty much done, but I beat Mukesh Kumar by 1 shot in that tournament. But 2002, I had gone to Tirupati, and like every year I would go, and we were crossing a road, me and my wife, and a motorbike came in from the wrong side, from the other side. And actually came straight at me and, hit me. Luckily, my wife didn't get hurt, but, I flew off and I landed on my knee. And luckily, I didn't get run over because it was a busy road. But I bust my knee and, I had to take a year off golf. And at that point of time, the Indian Golf Union was putting together a junior program across the country, and I was the only guy who could actually do it in the East at that point of time. So, the Indian Golf Union actually pushed me to start the junior program here. Though I was never in my life I had thought I would get into teaching. And this got me into teaching. And, because I was not doing anything, I said, okay, I'll take that on. And once I took that on, within a year, we had some top national players coming out of the East. And that was one thing that, stopped me from coming back to golf, to playing golf 100%. So from 2002 to now, I've always threatened to come and play. I've always played. I've played 7-8 tournaments almost every year. And I've always gone to Q school, but it was never the same again because my mind was completely distracted. And, I was already into coaching. And then my coaching started becoming into an academy, and from 5, 10, 12 students, I had over 100 students in Tollygunge Club, RCGC. I was doing 2005. Then I became an NGI staff teacher, and I started. I went to Italy to get further training to train teachers. So things started going completely away from playing. Though the heart is of a player, but the practical life came into being. And one more thing that I think played a very important role in me, moving away from playing to coaching is, with my daughter being born in 2000 and my son, being 2-3 years in 2000, 2001, when I was playing the Asian Tour as well as I was playing the Indian Tour, I was playing close to 30, 35 weeks a year. I would spend 4 weeks in America training, then I would play a little bit on the Asian Tour. I would play some Monday qualifiers on the US PGA Tour, and I would play the Indian Tour. So there would be 10 weeks, 11 weeks out of home. And, coming back home, my son would say, Mommy, ye kaun hai bedroom mein? So,
really?
so my son, my son, 2 years old, wouldn't recognize me after 10 weeks. And, with a daughter, who's few months old, I figured that, I had to make a choice. And if I had to play 20, 25 weeks, my family life would go for a toss. And that's when I started, focusing a little bit on the teaching and on the business front of the academy, and slowly the playing only remained a passion. So now when I go and play a golf tournament, it's more like I'm going for a holiday, I'm going for a break. So I'm competitive mentally, I'm competitive emotionally, but I'm not competitive physically because I'm not as sharp anymore. I don't practice anymore that hard. I do go out and shoot a few subpar rounds, but it's very tough to keep 4 days together. And probably, at some point of time, I would want to go 1 year and go and play with the kids. I'm not a big fan of senior golf, so I don't see myself going out and playing a senior tour, but I would definitely sometime motivate myself to, lose 7-8 kilos and get fitter and go out and play with the kids for 1 year, and see just to get back into that competitive mode. I don't know how I'll do, but I'll definitely do it.
Do your kids play golf?
So my son is also a professional golfer.
Is he? Okay.
Professional 3 years back, and he turned professional out of class 12.
Okay.
Though he's not playing as much because he's focusing on finishing his college, but he's playing a few tournaments, and we've played a few tournaments together as pros.
Well,
so we played.
That's the first, I think, in Indian golf, right?
No, I think Firoz Ali's also done that, but
okay.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of started the trend. Maybe we started just before Firoz did. I'm not too sure, but it's a nice feeling to play the same tournament as your son's playing. And he's obviously got a long way to go. My daughter plays to a 12 handicap. She's not that keen, but my son obviously is looking to give it a shot, and I'm going to let him, give it a shot till he's 25, 26.
So that's good. So that will be very interesting to see. It will be very interesting to see a match play with you and him in the finals.
Well, if not a match play, but I would love to, be in contention with him. For that, he has to play well and I have to play well. And to be in contention with him would be something that, probably one of my last dreams in the golfing front.
As an entrepreneur, Indrajit Bhalotia, the entrepreneur. So take us through that aspect of your life.
So, yeah, it's a good question you asked because, it's something that I would like people to know is, I started the Golf Academy around 2001-2, and I've been teaching right from the age of 18. So, I've been always teaching children, but never thought of it as a career. But, from 2001-2, we started the academy, and now we're pretty much the largest academy in the country. We've done programs in Bombay, Hyderabad. We've done tournaments, programs in Jamshedpur, across the country. And, we've run academies. We've got almost 16, 17 teachers on board. We've got a sports science team. we've had close to 300 students, last year before the lockdown. And so, the Golf Academy has been a big part. But what I've been focusing on over the last 2 years is a project called Champ for Life. And that is basically an education platform. It's for people like us who have wanted to drop out of school, drop out of college, and actually pursue sport, cricket, football, tennis, whichever sport. And we don't have that option. So, we've created a platform where a kid can drop out of school, do his schooling from open school, and get the tuition from us. So, we are a complete tuition platform where we give tuition to children from the class 8 onwards to actually prepare for their sport and not take education seriously, and maybe do only half an hour of studies a day. So this education platform basically gives you that tuition, and it also gives you 7 subjects like sports nutrition, fitness, mental toughness, handling social media, like things that Hardik Pandya have made, the mistakes. They have lost a lot of brand value by speaking in public, doing stuff on social media and interviews, which doesn't go well with the sports community. So those are things that has happened, and we want to educate kids to be champions on the course, off the field. They know how to handle themselves. They know how to handle finances. Today Boris Becker is selling his Wimbledon trophy. And, because to pay for his expenses, today Mike Tyson is broke. So, those things show Bjorn Borg, completely broke after their career is over because they probably didn't educate themselves. They didn't handle their finances. So we've created a platform where we teach athletes that. That's one part. The second part is we are also conducting courses like a sports management, a golf management, these kind of courses which helps anybody, like, say somebody who's an office goer, or somebody who's in college, or somebody who's passionate about sports. He wants to come into the sports industry. So we give them certification and we give them the knowledge to actually come out and work in the sports industry. So we've got that. We are become a platform to hold courses. We just conducted a Indian Golf Union referees course online. So the referee, those who wanted to be a referee, could come and attend an online course. It's more than just a webinar. It's an interactive course where you actually give an online exam with timers, with different checkpoints where you can't use unfair means. So it's a proper course, everything online. So we've already done that for the Indian Golf Union, and we are open to doing it for whether it's an umpire's course or a football referee's course. So we are doing everything basically to do with sports and education. So if anyone wants to take a look at what we do, it's cfl.academy. So if you can go to www.cfl.academy, you will find all the courses. So this is something.
It's popped up behind you.